Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the pleasant aspects of this committee is that I frequently have the opportunity to speak after my friend, Mr. Lynch, and he is my friend. America may be surprised to hear that. He referred to the Republicans. It was interesting. He stated the Republicans support a corporate-driven regulatory agenda. May I say to my good friend across the aisle that Republicans support an American family-driven reduction of federal regulatory oppression agenda. Republicans support the reduction of massive accumulation of federal debt agenda. Republicans support the logical conclusion that the reduction of the size and scope of the federal government will reduce the oppressive power and expense of the federal government. Republicans support states' rights. You know, if I was in charge, I'd bring regulatory powers of the federal government back 50 years. 'Cause I'll be 62 in a month. And I recall, I'm old enough to recall as a young man when the federal government wasn't in everyone's way. And it is an American family issue. If a farmer owns a one square mile farm, it's very common the way plots were laid out long ago. DOL police showed up last year to enforce bathroom facility regulations. You had 15 employees, all men on a farm. They had 2 bathrooms, one in the mechanic shop, the farm building, the farm maintenance building, and the other in the trailer where some of the employees, laborers live during harvest season. The DOL police showed up, told them according to the law, they had to have a bathroom facility within 1/4 mile distance for everybody else. The farmer said, I have to have 12 portalets out here. It's insane. The DOL agent gave him a citation, a fine. American families are quiet about things like this. You know why? You know why they don't want to complain? Because they don't want the IRS coming after them. They don't want the EPA coming after them. They recognize that the federal government's regulatory authority has most certainly been weaponized. I had another farmer, I had 10 farmers suffer this in a wave of regulatory oppression. EPA fuel police showed up with their little strips to check the saddlebag tanks of diesel trucks to see if there was any trace of red dye farm fuel in those tanks. If you know anything about farm operations, you know that fuel is carried in 5-gallon cans where it's needed, whether it's farm fuel or standard diesel fuel. They can get mixed, minute amounts. Nobody wants red dye farm fuel in their diesel trucks, but it can end up in small amounts in the tank, and the strips are sensitive enough to test that. Those farmers would find 10 grand apiece and would not allow me to fight on their behalf because they didn't want the IRS after them. The list goes on and on and on. In the first 2 years of the Biden administration, regulations issued have cost the economy a staggering $309 billion. That's $309,000 million. That's primarily absorbed by American families and small businesses because they don't have the attorneys and the staff power to deal with the regulatory expense. That number I just cited is a 50% increase compared to the first 2 years under the Obama administration and 8 times more expensive than the rules released in all 4 years under President Trump. Mr. Campbell, President Trump issued Executive Order 13771, known for its quote-unquote one-in, two-out approach to regulations. Was this approach successful in encouraging the economic prosperity in America?
Thank you, Congressman. I believe it was. We built on the experience that we had seen in U.S. states and around the world. They have a regulatory budget in place in Canada for a long time, in the United Kingdom. Other places around the world have used them, thought they make a lot of sense. It doesn't mean you don't have any regulation. It means that you just approach regulations in a more thoughtful manner. And that's what we endeavored to do, and I think it worked.
I don't think I could follow up that answer with a more logical statement, Mr. Chairman. My time has expired and I yield.